it's getting harder to make the other case that there are not people who are watching us. And again, I don't know if there's anything unscientific about the idea that there would be other life in the universe. I don't know if you watched the Hard Knocks show on HBO where they go to the training camp with the football teams, but Aaron Rodgers, who's a super smart guy, he sat in that chair, love him. He told a story about, I don't know where he was, somewhere in the South, and his friend walked out on the porch together. They were not drunk, they were not asleep, two people, and they saw a giant, what can only be described as a flying saucer, just a giant big thing that then left like at the speed of light, and then a couple of minutes later, 2 U.S. jets flew over. I believe him. I can't, am I 100% that this was a flying saucer or aliens? No, but it just seems likely.
Was this 20 years ago?
This was, no, I don't think so.
Then the dude has a smartphone. He has a smartphone that can take high-resolution video and stills. NASA
Maybe it was 20 years ago.
Well, that's my point. So
they were gobsmacked. They were like...
Okay, so in the day, you only had cameras when you were on vacation, so everything was eyewitness testimony. I got abducted. I got this. I saw that. Now everybody's got a camera. NASA's setting up a clearinghouse. You take your smartphone, take a picture of your UFO, and the metadata has your location, the angle of the phone, the direction. You send it in, and they can collate this.
I just want to ask this on a more philosophical level. Yeah. Just why wouldn't they... and I think we should just be happy that they're monitoring and not attacking. But it makes sense to me that, first of all, there could be other people in the universe, other beings.
Sure.
And there's an awful lot of people who have similar stories about similar sort of looking creatures. Mm-hmm. You know, that book Communion, I don't know.
Yeah, that started it. That set the standard for what an alien should look like.
Okay.
With the triangular face, big almond eyes.
Yes, people seem to have the same story. Now we have military people, Navy fighter jets testifying in Congress. We've seen things we cannot explain. It could be China has a technology we don't know. But it just seems like it's not unscientific to think that the aliens would be like, you know, these assholes are very self-destructive, and we just need to keep an eye on them. And yes, we might have to send Keanu Reeves down there to say, look, I was so sorry about this.
Remember the movie.
We tried not to wipe you out, but you assholes are just, we may need this planet, and you're fucking it up.
I'm glad you remembered that.
So we're going in a different direction with planet Earth.
My reaction is, I want to meet the aliens. I just need better evidence than what has been presented.
Right.
So if they are aliens, I would like better evidence than simple eyewitness sworn testimony. In science, what you swear on is not the measure of what is true. It's just the measure of what you think is true in your mind. I need better data than that.
But what do you think Aaron Rodgers saw? What do you think happened that night?
The universe brims with mysteries, and I don't know.
Yeah, but this one seemed kind of obvious. A giant.
So that must be why. I met him at a Rangers game in the Garden.
I just feel.
I met him at a Rangers, and he's new to the city. He's a small town guy.
Boy, did he take that.
So I said, "Look, I felt very, very. This is my town, you know.
Yeah.
And director of the planetarium.
Yeah.
Come by. I told him this, and now why should anyone ever act on that? But he did. So
of course he did.
So in the 2-week gap between the last exhibition game and the first game, I got a call from his agent that said he wants to come by and visit the planetarium.
Cool.
I said, bring him by. And then they said, but can he bring 25 of
Right, he does that. He goes to Broadway shows like that.
With his whole crew.
Yeah, with like 25 jets.
Yeah. And so then they canceled at the last minute, and then he tears up his Achilles heel. So I think I could have given him some physics advice so that wouldn't have happened.
I know, but what a badass. A guy who gets the job in New York and goes, you know what? I'm so macho. I'm going to take a bunch of fucking football players out to every show on Broadway and Taylor Swift's show. It was brilliant because, you know, New York.
I would have had fun with them. They didn't come by.
New York is Broadway too.
Yeah, it is Broadway totally.
You know,
it's especially Broadway. Right.
You know, you want to embrace the city.
Yeah.
I mean, he's more popular on crutches than any athlete that has been walking in 20 years.
I'm latter-day friends with his ex-girlfriend, the race car driver.
Race car driver?
Yeah. He dated, not to get all gossipy, but...
Who did? Oh, I think I know her. Danica Patrick?
Yeah, Danica Patrick, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, she's got her own podcast. I've been on a podcast twice. And we talked about Aaron Rodgers in the last interview, and I told her the story. He said he's a very fun-loving guy, and he would have, because I was going to tweet, had he come by, I would have given him some physics advice so he wouldn't tear his ankle, but I thought that was insensitive. She said, no, he would have totally dug it.
Totally on my page with the medical stuff. So, but let's not go back to there.
So let me just say, I need eyewitness testimony without independent data obtained by something that is not your brain, okay?
Right.
The human sensory system is rife, as we said earlier in this conversation, about optical illusions, and you don't know what you're looking at. So,
but two guys who saw a giant spaceship hovering above them at the same time.
Maybe it was aliens. Now, what happened to all the people who were abducted, as they told their psychiatrists?
Their assholes were sore. No, they were. They testified to that.
Does that make it objectively true? No, it just means that they believe they're telling the truth. What I'm saying is, all of the abduction stories that were filling this in the 1970s, but you're old enough to remember all this. Back when in my day, all these abduction stories, they all went away in the era of the smartphone because we can record that and we don't. There are no...
Well, maybe the aliens know that.
Okay, so that was the excuse for when someone claimed to have taken regular cameras and the film was blank. So now, because of the ACLU and cops beating up black people, you can stream whatever is in your phone to the internet, to their servers, while it's happening. And we don't have any shots inside the... So here's what you do. Next time you're abducted, steal an ashtray off the shelf. And then when if you don't get a picture, then you have an artifact of alien manufacture, and then we can analyze it and say, hey, look, you had a real encounter.
Again, I am not dying on this hill because I don't know. I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying. We don't know. I find...
Correct. We don't know. And the evidence put forth... The weight of that evidence is not magnified by someone swearing to tell the truth.
I know, but 200 simultaneous sore assholes is something.
Okay, that's hard. That's good evidence, right there.
I think I like better than making you laugh like that. Nothing.
The asshole defense.
Hey, thanks for watching the clip. Hit the subscribe button now so you never miss out on our Club Random content that's posted daily.